Sitaram. On behalf of Sanatan Vidwad Vidyalaya and Vision to Photo and Video Production, we bring you Divali Pooja 2023. In this production, we'll be walking each and everyone who is desirous of performing Lakshmi Pooja through each step, and at the same time give you a concurrent explanation step by step of the performance of Divali Pooja. So the first stage in Puja is the preparatory rites. We sprinkle water on all the articles to be offered and the individuals performing Puja while this mantra is recited. Om apavitra pavitruva sarvasthanga tupiva yaha smarit pundrikaksham savahya bhyantra shuchi. Now we proceed to wash hands. Om govindaya nama ityastam prakshalyam. Right palm goes on top of left palm, and water is going to be sipped 3 times with the revered names of Bhagwan Krishna for inner purification. Om Achyutaya Namaha, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha. We wash hands again. Om Govindaya Nama Ityastam Prakshalyam. Now we place a ring on the ring finger of the right hand, a ring made of kush grass, preferably. Om Pavitristo Vaishnavyo Savitura Prasupmunam Yachidrina Pavitrina Sudyasya Rashmibhi. So water is sprinkled on that ring with the mantra of recited. And now we tie on Raksha. For men, it will be on the right hand. For ladies, on the left hand. Om Yena Badho Baliraja Dhanvendra Mahabala Tena Twambyandyami Rakshema Chalamachala. Next, we'll purify the seat, so we sprinkle water on the seat. Om Prithvi Tvaya Dhrita Loka Devi Tam Vishnu Nadhrita Tam Chadharmam Devi Pavitram Kuruchasanam. So all part of preparatory rites. Now we stick a piece of kush grass, a small piece where we are going to sit, and akshat in hand, along with flower, as we thank Lakshmi Maataa for this opportunity. Om Hiranyavarana Subhaga Hiranyakashpurmehi Tulya Hiranyam Dape Satya Akaram Namha. Bole Sri Lakshmi Maataa ki Jai. The offerings are now made to the Lakshmi Maataa Murti, a picture on the altar. And we always recommend that Ganesh Baba be there too in the undertaking of puja and rituals of any sort. One is now comfortably seated as we continue preparatory rites, and with akshat in hand, we not going to slight any of the deities. So Swasti Vachan is going to be recited, which will encapsulate all the various categories of the deities. So we begin Swasti Vachan. Om Swasti na Indro Bridha Sharvaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavidaha Swasti na Starikshtanemi Swasti no Brihaspati Dhatu Om Paya Paushadishu Payo Divyantarikshe Payo Dhaha Payasiti Parishasantu Mahyam Om Vishnu Ratamasi Vishnu Shnaptristo Vishnu Surisi Vishnu Dhruvosi Vaishramasi Vishnavidva Om Agni Devata Vato Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Vasavo Devata Rudro Devata Ditya Devata Maruto Devata Vishdeva Devata Brihaspatindro Devata Varano Devata Om Dhyava Shanti Nantarkshagum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sargum Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Shanti Bhavatu Bolo Sri Lakshmi Maataa ki Jai. That akshat is now offered by Sri Ganesh Maharaj and Lakshmi Maataa. And we now proceed to Sankalp, which is a critical part of the performance of puja or any ritual, because here we authenticate where the planets are bearing testimony that this undertaking was performed with bhakti, with devotion and with reverence and with acknowledgement of the deities. So the Sankalp, one holds the palm leaf in hand with akshat, the rice, a supari, a coin, a flower, and a piece of kush grass. And so at some point in time in the recitation of Sankalp, the performer of puja is asked to take their name in their mind as we now proceed into Sankalp. Om Vishnu 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 Nama Paramatmane Shri Purana Purushottamasya Vishnu Ragaya Vartamanasya Brahmane Dvitiya Praladade Shri Shveta Varha Kalpe Vaivaswata Manvantare Ashta Vimshti Tame Kalyuge Kalipatam Charne Bhuloke Trindadeshe. If one is in a different country, take the name of that country now. Now proceed to take the name of the village or town in which we live. In this case, Marakas Gawe Shri Mahavishnu Pujapati Kshetra Vikram Ke Baudautar Vartman Nal Samvatsare Dakshinayane Mahamangalpe Masa Nam Masutame Kartik Mase Krishna Pakshe Amavasya Tithau Ravi Vasare Swati Nakshatre Simrashi State Surya Mangal Vrishchik Rashi State Bud Kumbh Rashi State Shani Meen Rashi State Rahu Mesh Rashi State Guru Tula Rashi State Chandra Kanya Rashi State Shukra Ketu Saubhagya Ya Shobhana Yoge Kim Stugna Karne Eva Gunisheshana Vishishtayam Shubha Punya Tathau Sakala Shastra Sruti Smriti Punantapal Praptikamaha Amuk Gotrutapano Amuk Varnasya Yajman Yasya Yathanam. Take your name in mind. Mamatmana Suputra Bandhavasya Naugraha Dwara Graha Krita Rajkrit Sarva Vignapira Nivriti Purvaka Nirujadhai Pushti Dhanadhanya Samridhartham Naugraha Makinayakshe Tatradav Tanid Vigdata Sitim Ganesharanam Pujanam Cha Krishe Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. So we offer that pan leaf with all its contents at the feet of Mother Lakshmi and bow. And now we come to the final stage in the preparatory rites, which is the acknowledgement of Bhagwan Ganesh. This is done with a white flower in hand preferably, as we thank him that against all challenges and obstacles, we are here to perform Lakshmi Maata's puja. So in acknowledgement of Bhagwan Ganesh, we take white flower preferably in hand. Om Sumukaschaika Dantasya Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodarascha Vikatu Vignanasho Vinayakaha Dhumraketur Ganadhyaksho Bhalachandro Gajananaha Dwadashaitani Namani Apatichvinu Yarapi Vidyarambhe Vivahe Cha Praveshe Nirgame Tatha Sangrame Sankate Chaiva Vignasasya Najayate. Bolo Shri Gajanan Swami Ki Jai, offered by Bhagwan Ganesh. And this is conclusion of the preparatory rites. As though we move into the 16 forms of worship, the recommended 16 forms of worship, not only to Lakshmi Maataa, but to any deity to whom puja is performed. So the first of these 16 forms is known as Awahan. It constitutes two portions. First, there's a dhyan, where with flower in hand, and in Lakshmi Maata's case, preferably yellow. And we concentrate on that form, that deity, as the mantra is recited. Om Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstata Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. So we offer to Lakshmi Maataa. And the second part of this first form of worship, known as Awahan, where with reverence we call the deity, that second part is we sprinkle water and akshat, the colored rice, on where we are going to put her and place her on the altar. Om Agacheha Mahadevi Sarva Sampat Pradayinihi Yavadvitam Samapita Tavatam Sinidhabha Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Namah Avahanam Samarpyami. So now we come to the second of the 16 forms. We have to offer a cleansed seat. So a piece of kush grass is placed beneath where we are going to put the murti, where the murti is, or the picture as the case may be. And water is going to be sprinkled on that piece of kush grass. And with the ring finger, we cleanse that seat and touch the forehead in preparation for seating the deity. Om Agacha Bhagwan Devas Thani Chatris Thirubha Yavat Pujam Karishyami Tavatam Sinidhubha Om Bhudvasva Sri Ganeshaya Namah Avaha Asanam Samarpyami. Om Prasida Jagata Mata Sansararamatarini Mayani Vrita Bhaktya Asanam Sapalam Kuru Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Asanam Samarpyami. The third of the 16 forms is preparation to wash the feet. So water, you cup the left hand, we're going to put water in it, and with the ring finger, we're going to dip and wash the feet of the deities. Om Vishnurakam nirmalam cha sarva saugandhya samitam Pad prakshal narthaya datam te pratighitam Om bhurvasva Sri Ganeshaya nama Padyam samarpyami Om Gangadi sarvatirtebhyo maya prarthanaya hitam Toyami tatsukam sparasham padyaritam pratighitam Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Padyam samarpyami. It is interesting and instructive with the mantras what we are actually performing in puja. It is not simply a ritual, it is embedded in deep philosophy. For instance, that mantra which you just quoted to wash the feet of Mother Lakshmi, it says, Om Gangari Sarvatirtebhyo. If I had the wherewithal, O Ma, to go to the holy waters of the Ganga and all the holy pilgrimages, I would have so done, just to gather that water to wash your feet. That's what the mantra says. But under the circumstances, I use the water that is available, the clean water to wash your feet. Now we come to the fourth of the 16 offerings. It is known as Arghya, where we take a palm leaf and we pour it like in a cup form to hold a little bit of water. We are going to put fragrance in the form of chandan, a supari, chandan, and the flower, the yellow flower. And this is Arghya for Lakshmi Maataa to wash hands. So when the mantra is uttered, the articles are touched on her hand and rest at the base of the murti. Om Nidhina Sarvadevanam Tomanargya Gyanahasi Simho Paridithite Devi Gyanargyam Namasite Iti Argyam Shri Lakshmi Maataa Nama Samarpyami. Now we come to the fifth offering, having given Lakshmi Maataa water to wash the hands, and it is interesting, the mantra says, Om Nidhina Sarvadevanam Tamanargya Ganahasi, that into that, it's water with fragrance, that's why we put chandan, water with a bouquet, that's why we put flower, all symbolic, and water with something that has antibacterial and bacteriostatic properties, which is like the crushed betel nut or supari as the case may be. And that is what is given to wash hands. Now we come to the fifth of the 16 offerings. We give Mother Lakshmi water to quench her thirst, so water is sprinkled on the hands. Om Karpurena Sugandhena Surabhi Swadi Shitalam Tuyamachmniyaratam Devi Dam Pratighitam Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Achmniyam Samarpyami. Now we come to the very important sixth of the 16 offerings, which is the bathing of Mother Lakshmi. First, this is done with Panchamrit. Then secondly with water. Panchamrit, as the name suggests, Panch Amrit, contains 5 ingredients. Milk, sugar, brown sugar, dahi, ghee and honey. And we place Lakshmi Maataa into Tarya as we bathe her. If there is accompanying sank, etc., bell, etc., it can be blown or rung at this point in time. Om Payo Dadhigritam Chaiva Madhucha Sharkarayitam Panchamritam Antam Jhana Parameshwari Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Panchamrit Snanam Samarpyami. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. So this from Panchamrit becomes Charanamrit, having run off the feet of God. And it is the partaking of this Charanamrit at the end of puja, which for one, prevents untimely death. The second bath with water has its own significance. But first, we bathe Lakshmi Maataa with that water. Om Mandakinaha Samanitaihe Hemam Bhurvasitam Snanam Kurushu Devi Shri Sharilai Sasugandhivi Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Shuddurka Snanam Samarpyami. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. And this is known as Charanodak. This runoff, if kept and sprinkled in the compounds where one lives at the gateway, is an added protection, just as the Raksha is for one's property and real estate as the case may be. So it is not simply wastewater, it has its potent use. So having given Lakshmi Maataa a bath with this water, we will touch to the forehead and then rest her back down on the altar. Mind you, the blowing of the sank, etc., one of the great benefits of Hindu worship is that whoever is within earshot of these songs, be they of Hindu persuasion or not, they will reap the rewards, some of the rewards of the performance of puja. Some of those rewards are like a revamping of thoughts, a cleansing of thoughts. These are the incidental benefits when one listens or hears the sound of puja being conducted. So, having performed the sixth form of bathing, obviously we offer clothing at this point in time, which is the seventh offering. So you can take cotton wool. Lakshmi Maata's favorite color is yellow. We can dip that cotton wool in haldi, and so we'll offer it and clothe Mother Lakshmi. So we offer clothing to Mother Lakshmi. Om Patakula Yugam Devi Kanchukena Samritam Parigehi Kripam Krita Mata Shri Jaganambika Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Vastram Samarpyami. Now, some of the offerings in the 16 offerings are auxiliary offerings. For instance, what is coming up now? Having given her clothing, the auxiliary offering, we offer water for her to wash her hands. Om Karpurena Sugandhena Surabhi Swadashitalam Toya Machmiyartam Devi Dam Pratigahitam Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Achmanyam Samarpyami. Now comes the 8th and very important offering of Chandan, which will be bestowed to Lakshmi Mata and to Ganesh Baba. In the 16 forms of worship, 5 are considered topmost, top draw. The first is Chandan, the second will be garlanding with flowers, the third is waving of incense, the fourth is Arati, and the fifth is Prasad. But we will re-identify as puja goes along. So this is the first of the 5 major forms of worship, the bestowing of Chandan. So we take the ring finger, dip into the Chandan, and we go up on the forehead. Om Shri Khandam Chandanam Divyam Gandhadyam Sumudharam Vilepanam Surishishtra Gyana Parameshwara Om Bhudbhasva Shri Ganeshaya Nama Chandanam Samarpyami. Om Shri Khandam Chandanam Divyam Gandhadyam Sumudharam Vilepanam Chadevishi Chandanam Pratigahitam Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Chandanam Samarpyami. If one is performing puja alone at home without the guidance of a pandit, one now bestows Chandan on the forehead. At this point in time, Chandan is bestowed to oneself. If one is doing puja alone, with the middle finger, you give Chandan to yourself. If you have children there, you give them with the little finger. And if one's spouse is sitting, they give each other with the ring finger. Om Shri Khandam Chandanam Divyam Gandhadyam Sumuram Vilepanam Chadevishi Chandanam Pratigahitam. Om Shri Khandam Chandanam Divyam Gandhadyam Sumuram Vilepanam Surishishtra Grihana Parameshwara. So I have covered both genders, whether it's males or females or both males and females sitting. That mantra will cover everybody. So we come now to the offering of Akshat, which is an auxiliary offering. So we have thus far performed 8 of the 16 offerings. Now we give Akshat as Mangal Dravya, as blessings to have the presence of Mother Lakshmi before us. Om Akshatan Nirbalan Shudhan Mukta Phal Samritan Grihanman Mahadevi Dehi Me Nirbalam Diyam Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Akshatan Samarpyami. Another of the auxiliary offerings is the bestowal of Mangal Sutra. Now Mangal Sutra is offered to Mother Lakshmi. So we take a piece of the same yellow Raksha material and we bestow that necklace to her. Om Saubhagya Sutram Vande Subhadra Manisamtam Kanthe Bandhyami Devishi Saubhagyam Dehi Misra Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Saubhagya Sutram Samarpyami. Now we come to the very important 9th of the 16 offerings, the garlanding of the deity. We will garland Bhagwan Ganesh preferably with a white flower and Lakshmi Mata with a yellow flower. Om Maladini Sugandhini Maladini Vaiprabho Mayanitani Pushpani Pujartam Pratigahitam Om Bhudbhasva Shri Ganeshaya Nama Pushpam Samarpyami. Om Mandar Padi Jatadi Patalketakani Cha Jati Champaka Pushpani Ghanimani Shubare Iti Shri Lakshmi Matanama Pushpam Samarpyami. We now decorate Mother Lakshmi, 10th offering, with Hardi, Kumkum, Kajal, Sinduru. A mixture of these powders is said to give the countenance a nice hue. So we proceed. Om Haridram Kumkumaschaiva Sinduram Kajaranakam Saubhagya Dravyamitutam Gahana Parameshwari Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Saubhagya Dravyani Samarpyami. Notice the mantra says Om Haridram, that is Hardi, Kumkuma, Kumkum powder, which is similar in color to the Sindur. Om Haridram Kumkumaschaiva Sinduram Kajalanatam. Sindur and Kajal. The mantra identifies all the ingredients and all the instructions. And this is how we beautify Mother Lakshmi. So the 11th of the 16th offering, this 11th offering of dhoop or incense is identified in the 5 major forms of worship. There's an option here. One can offer Gugul or one can wave the incense stick. The hurdle is that if we offer Gugul in the Havan Kund, unless we clean that Havan Kund, we'll have to use another Havan Kund when it comes to Prasad. Because Prasad, of course, is for feeding, eating of the deities, by the deities, but Gugul is really for external use. So we don't want to mix the baratan. So the easier option will be agarbati in the stick form. Om Vanaspati Raso Dhuto Gandhadayo Gandhutamaha Agra Sadivanam Dhupoyam Pratgritam Om Bhudbhasva Sri Ganeshaya Nama Dhupam Samarpyami Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Dhupamagrapyami. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. Now we come to the 12th of the 16th offerings, which is Arati. This is done 3 times and in a clockwise direction, both for Sri Ganesh Baba and Lakshmi Maataa. Om Sajan Chavarti Samitam Vahena Yojatama Dipam Gahana Devesha Trilokati Vidapaha Om Bhudbhasva Sri Ganeshaya Nama Dipam Dasyami Om Sajan Chavarti Samitam Vahena Yojatama Dipam Gahana Deveshi Trilokati Vidapaha Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Dipam Dasyami. Bolo Shri Gajanan Swami Ki Jai, Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. And now comes the pinnacle of offering, the 13th offering, the offering of Prasad, where we invite the deities to dine with us. Prasad for Lakshmi Maataa should carry neem leaf. If one has fruits, that can be offered. If one has Mohan Bhog, that can be offered. If there's a provision of Laddu with Ganesh present, no problem. Other than that, we can go with simply fruit. So God is the indweller of all hearts, Antaryami. Sometimes human beings cannot separate their wants from their needs. So let's leave it in Lakshmi Maata's hands to guide the process, to guide our advancement. Samriddhi or Unnati in Hindi. And let that be as it may as we go before her. Om Annam Chaturvidhasva Duhurasayai Shadbhi Samtam Naivedyam Gahitam Devi Bhakti Me Chalam Kuru Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Naivedyam Phalanchad Vidyami. Om Annam Chaturvidhasva Duhurasayai Shadbhi Samritam Bhaksha Bhuja Samayutam Naivedyam Pratgritam Om Bhudbhasva Sri Ganeshaya Nama Naivedyam Nivedyami. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. Now water is sprinkled 3 times around the prasad. If one is by oneself, one can hold the prasad in the left hand and use the right hand to, as is demonstrated here, to sprinkle the water. Om Karpurena Sugandhena Surabhiswaru Shitalam Tuyamachmniyaratam Devi Dam Pratgritam Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Achmniyam Samarpyami. Om Sarvatirtha Samayuktam Sugandhim Nirmalam Jalam Achmniyam Maratam Gahana Parameshwara. Om Bhudbhasva Sri Ganeshaya Nama Achmniyam Samarpyami. So now a continuation of this 13th offering of prasad, we are going to feed the deities. One can take the neem leaf, rested by Lakshmi Maataa, and we proceed to the Havan Kund. Just a word as preparation is being made for Havan on Arati. How many times should we perform Arati? How should Arati be performed? The mantra tells it all. So briefly, we recite the mantra and discuss. Om Sajan Chavarti Santam Vahina Yojitam Maya. As I wave this light, which consists of a batti, a wick, with fueled by oil and lit. As we wave this, Om Sajan Chavarti Santam Vahina Yojitam Maya. Deepam Grahana Devesha Trilokyati Vidapaha. The Prabhu, Ma, when I reborn into this world, whether I am in the upper spheres, whether I am back on earth, whether I am in the lower spheres, Trilokya, those are the 3 spheres. I wave this light in this clockwise direction, so the darkness around me that envelops me wherever I am born in the hereafter will be dispelled, and I'll be able to see the light, your light, and wend my way out, advance my way out from wherever station in life I'm in. So it's 3 times because it's 3 worlds, and we are going in that direction. So we make preparation for Havan. It is recommended that for Havan, these 3 fingers be used. So water is sprinkled 3 times around the Havan Kund. Om Achmaniyam, Punachmaniyam, Shurachmaniyam, Samarpyami. And in the Havan Kund is the preferred mango wood, where camphor is put. And just before we light, there's an instruction that is good to follow in how the offerings in Havan are made. This is across the board, any Havan. It is these 3 fingers are used. The thumb represents one's individual soul. The middle finger represents Satgun. The ring finger represents Rajogun. We don't want the index finger, which is the I and the ego, and the little finger, which is Tamogun, negativity, lassitude, laze. We don't want that in Havan. So if one can manage, get these 3 involved in performing Havan. As we proceed in Havan, there are certain directions we will go to, because in those directions we are identifying exactly where the deity's name, which is called, is sitting. And this is again a rule of thumb. This is across the board. It's not only for Divali Pooja or Lakshmi Maataa Pooja. These deities are stationed in certain permanent directions when it comes to the offerings. So we light up. Om Bhudbhosva, Om Bhudbhosva, Dyaudava, Bhumna, Prithviva, Vanimnatasasti, Agnimandamanayara Dudhe. So we begin our offering to the south, to Agni Devta. You can join in Swaha. Om Shri Agnaye, Swaha Idam Agnaye Namama. We go to the west. We recognize Som Devta, the god of the moon. Om Som Somaya, Swaha Idam Somaya Namama. As we go now to the east, bring our ancestors to the mind. Om Shri Prajapate, Swaha Idam Shri Prajapate Namama. We go to the north to recognize Indradev. Om Shri Indraya, Swaha Idam Indraya Namama. So now we can access any part of the Havan Kund until a certain direction is called. So we begin by worshipping Bhagwan Ganesh. Om Shri Ganeshaya, Swaha. Om Shri Riddhidebhyai, Swaha. Om Shri Siddhidebhyai, Swaha. Om Gam Ganapate, Swaha. Om Shri Brahmanaspate, Swaha. Om Shri Pushti Matayai, Swaha. Think about Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. Om Shri Gurave, Swaha. Take one's Guru mantra in mind now. Om Shri Gurave, Swaha. Take one's Isht in mind. We'll do for the males first and then for the females. Om Shri Ishtadevaya, Swaha. Om Shri Ishtadebhyai, Swaha. Om Shri Shivaya, Swaha. Om Hrim Dum Durgayai, Swaha. Om Namo Narayanaya, Swaha. Om Shri Shalagam Devaya, Swaha. Om Shri Kamal Vasanyai, Swaha. The next few mantras till I change course all recognize the various projections of Lakshmi. So one has just gone. Kamal Vasanyai, she who resides on a lotus. Om Shri Dakshina Divyai, Swaha. Om Shri Surabhi Matayai, Swaha. Om Hrim Shrim Klim Vasudhayai, Swaha. We go to the east as Aditi Mata. Om Shri Aditi Matayai, Swaha. We go to the northeast as Sampati Mata. Om Shri Sampati Matayai, Swaha. Om Shri Ganga Matayai, Swaha. Om Shri Tulsi Matayai, Swaha. Om Shri Kamala Matayai, Swaha. We revert to the other deities now. Om Shri Vidhate, Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Saraswatyai, Swaha. We go to the east for 2 offerings to Suryanarayan. Om Vinihi Suryaya, Swaha. Om Shri Vishnave Swaha. We go to the northeast and we go in a clockwise direction as we recognize the grahas. Om Vachaspate Pavasa Vishnu Agam Shubhyam Gabasti Putaha Devo Devi Bhepasai Sham Bhugasi Swaha. Northeast again. Om Kem Ketave Swaha. Southeast. Om Shum Shakraya Swaha. South. Om Angangarakaya Swaha. Southwest. Om Ram Rahue Swaha. West. Om Shamshana Ishtraya Swaha. Northwest. Om Som Sumaya Swaha. North. Om Bumbudhaya Swaha. We recognize the guardians of the various quarters. Om Shri Dach Dikpal Devtabhyaha Swaha. To the north. Om Shri Kuver Devaya Swaha. Northwest. Om Shri Vayavi Swaha. West. Om Shri Varunaya Swaha. Southwest. Om Shri Niriti Devaya Swaha. South. Om Shri Yamaya Swaha. Center. Om Shri Anantaya Swaha. We recognize now the 33 celestials, groups of celestials. We go to the east. Om Shri Sarva Aditya Devtabhyaha Swaha. To the south. Om Shri Ekarasha Rudribhyaha Swaha. To the north. Om Shri Vasubhyaha Swaha. North again. Om Shri Dhruv Balakaya Swaha. To the east. Om Shri Ashwini Kumarabhyam Swaha. Northeast. Om Shri Dyu Devaya Swaha. The next two to the east. Om Shri Daksh Prajapate Swaha. Om Shri Prasuti Matayai Swaha. Om Shri Manasa Dibyai Swaha. Om Shri Mangal Chandi Dibyai Swaha. So I will repeat that mantra for the benefit of those who may not be privy, that this is to the guardian deity, a projection of Durga Mata that has an input where one resides or where one works or where one goes to school. Noble places of visitations. Om Shri Mangal Chandi Dibyai Swaha. We go to the northwest. Om Shri Swasti Dibyai Swaha. Northwest. Om Shri Maru Devtabhyaha Swaha. Center. Om Shri Pachetas Devtabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Stan Devtabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Stan Devibhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Gram Devtabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Gram Devibhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Desh Devtabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Desh Devibhyaha Swaha. There we recognize we might have children or relatives in foreign lands. The guardian devta and deity of these villages, etc., we have just recognized. Om Shri Bhrigurishaye Swaha. Om Shri Narad Munaye Swaha. Om Shri Kashyap Atri Vasisht Vishwamitra Bharadwaj Jamdagni Gautam Rishibhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Ahilya Draupadi Tara Kunti Mandodari Matabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Kali Maharajaya Swaha. Om Shri Vaivasvat Manave Swaha. Om Shri Sarva Devtabhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Sarva Devibhyaha Swaha. Om Shri Dhanvantari Bhagwanaya Swaha. We are going from left to right as we recognize the 5 Panchmukhi Hanuman. Om Shri Varah Bhagwanaya Swaha. Om Shri Narasim Bhagwanaya Swaha. Om Shri Kesari Kesuraya Swaha. Om Shri Garud Maharajaya Swaha. Om Shri Hegriv Bhagwanaya Swaha. Om Shri Parshuram Bhagwanaya Swaha. Om Shri Vyas Bhagwanaya Swaha. We go to the north. Om Shri Mool Prakriti Ishwari Matayai Swaha. To the south. Om Shri Raseshwari Matayai Swaha. The next two to the center. Om Shri Radha Matayai Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. Om Shri Shatrughna Maharajaya Swaha. Om Shri Lakshmanaya Swaha. Om Shri Bharat Maharajaya Swaha. Om Janak Nandanyai Vidmehe Bhumi Jananyai Dhimahi Tanno Sita Prachodayat. Om Shri Vaidehi Matayai Swaha. And now the final offering. Om Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sastranam Tatulyam Ram Ram Varanane Om Shri Ramaya Swaha. So now we'll sprinkle water again 3 times around the Havan Kund. Om Achmaniyam Punachmaniyam Shudachmaniyam. So at the conclusion with Prasad offering, we now make 11 ghee oblations to Lakshmi Maataa. I will say the first one slowly, you can follow, and then I'll complete the other 10. You can also join. Om Shri Kamal Vasanyai Swaha. 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 So now we terminate Havan as usual by sprinkling water 3 times around the Havan Kund. Om Achmaniyam Punachmaniyam Shurachmaniyam Samarpiyami. So that completes the 13 of the 16 offerings of puja. We now come to the 14th offering. And notice in the 14th offering, for the Devis, for the males it's just a supari into the pani. But for the females, it's a combination of volatile oils. The mantra tells you, Om Ela Lavang Kasturim. So we put clove, elaichi, cardamom, and just a few grains of camphor. All contain volatile oils to aid the process of digestion. Puja is very scientific, you know. And so we'll fold it up and put a yellow flower on top and kasturi. Kasturi, while the tambul is being prepared, a word on kasturi. Kasturi is musk. Musk is that fragrant powder that comes from the navel of a seasonal production of the deer. And it is said it is so fragrant, it infuses its fragrance throughout. So sometimes one might smell the bark of a tree and think, well, it's coming from that. Such is the power of kasturi. But you know, very strange, the deer itself doesn't get the fragrance. So the symbolism of offering kasturi in puja is that, you know, yes, we have had the great opportunity, the rare opportunity, the blessed opportunity of performing worship to Lakshmi Maataa, but that there must not be a conceit or egoistic awareness of that we have done puja. We are privileged to do puja. And so the kasturi brings us back down to ground. And so it is now offered to Lakshmi Maataa. Om Ela Lavang Kasturim Karpurayai Puspavachtam Vitika Mukha Vasar Tamarpyam Surishri Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Tambulam Samarpyami. Then our 15th, our penultimate offering is a token of what we have received by the graces of Mother Lakshmi. So we take a little dakshina, whatever is within our capability. We take a flower and we'll offer it to Lakshmi Maataa. Om Puja Phala Samriddhartham Tavagre Sordamishri Stapitam Techapritatam Punan Kuru Manorathan Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Pushpam Dakshinam Samarpyami. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa Ki Jai. So that brings us now to our final offering, our 16th offering, whereby our little transgressions, the mind might have strayed inadvertently, the thoughts might have strayed, so we seek out the forgiveness of Mother Lakshmi with flower in hand. That's why it's called Pushpanjalim. Pushpa is flower and Anjali is the hand. So we stand with flower in hand. Om Nana Sugandhi Pushpani Yatha Kalud Bhanicha Pushpanjali Marita Grihana Jaganambika Iti Shri Lakshmi Maataa Pushpanjalim Samarpyami. Om Bhurva Sri Ganeshaya Namah Pushpanjalim Samarpyami. So the 16th and final offering consists of 2 parts. The first part we just did, Pushpanjalim, with flower in hand. Now with lighted camphor, we are going to perform like an arati 3 times around the altar and then circumambulate once. Om yani kani cha papani janmanta kritani cha tani sarvani nashyanti pradakshina pare pare iti Shri Lakshmi Maatai nama pradakshinam samarpiyami. Om bhurbhasva Shri Ganeshaya nama pradakshinam samarpiyami. Bolo Shri Gajanan Swami ki jai. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa ki jai. And now it's time for a concluding prayer. So with flower in hand, we offer this invocation. Standing with flower in hand, we make our closing prayer now. Om avahanam na janami tavarachanam pujam chaiva na janami kshamasva parameshwari gatam papam gatam duhukam gatam daridmevacha agata sukha sampatihi punyaham tana darshanat anyatha sharam nasti tumeva sharan mama tasmat karyana bhavana rakshamam parameshwari. Om tumeva mata cha pita tumeva bandhuscha sakha tumeva vidya dravinam tumeva sarvam mama deva deva. Om shanti shanti shanti. Bolo Shri Gajanan Swami ki jai. Bolo Shri Lakshmi Maataa ki jai. Bolo Shri Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. Umapati Mahadev ki jai. Pavanputra Hanuman ki jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai.